So I try to fight through a lot of tears, but overall, you'll get the picture, the full picture. A few years ago, one of my line sisters was diagnosed with breast cancer. And it was a very trying time for her friends, especially those of us that didn't necessarily know what to say to encourage her, or how to be there for her with her being so far away. To say the least, this same exact year, more so like the next day after I heard that she was diagnosed, I had an OB appointment, and my OB sent me to get a mammogram. So I'm in my early 30s at this time. Can't remember the exact number right now. Early 30s at this time. Go get these mammograms. They're doing ultrasounds. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, the first ultrasound I get is not because I'm having a baby, but because I'm getting my breast checked. So to say the least, that goes on for years. This particular year, I go back February 5th to get my follow-up mammogram. I've been doing them every year since. Get my follow-up mammogram. And unfortunately, this particular time, if you haven't had a mammogram, it's not a good feeling at all. At this particular time, the lady's pictures, or the mammogram pictures, did not go through, so she needed to do the pictures again. So she goes through, does the pictures again, and something it came over me. Whatever it was, something just said, I hope something ain't right. So I did the same. So I went through a mammogram twice on February 5th. I got a call back about 2 weeks later that I needed to come back March 5th because they needed to do a 3D mammogram, and I needed to have another ultrasound done. Go through the process. All of that is being done. Now this is March 5th. It just took too long. It wasn't the same routine I was used to. It wasn't the same anything. You know, sometimes you get a level of discernment on your spirit. I had a level of discernment on my spirit that you might not get favorable news. To say the least, I had to come back about a week later. Last Thursday, I had to go back for a biopsy. So they did find something on my right breast. It was something on my left breast, but they weren't concerned about that. It was the right breast they were concerned about. I go back for a biopsy last Thursday. I guess I should start by saying I'm not necessarily a very secretive person, but I don't like to be what people worry about or who people worry about. I just want to float and do me and handle my business and go on about my day. So I didn't necessarily want to tell my sister, who I'm extremely close to, my girlfriend who is battling or, has gone through all of this with her breast cancer diagnosis, my line sisters. I didn't want to tell anyone, especially not my mother. My mother is a worrywart, and she will just worry and worry and worry. And she always says, well, I worry when you worry. But my thing to my mom is, I'm not worried because I know whose I am. I know God has me, and he's not going to give me more than I can bear. Go back for my biopsy results Monday. For some reason, they didn't have me in the system that I was supposed to be back there this past Monday. So I'm sitting in the waiting room, waiting on the lady to get the lady to come talk to me. So, of course, eventually lady comes to get me and takes me in the back room and closes the door. I said, man, I see this all the time on TV. I've been doing what's called keto. So we'll get into keto at another time, but trying not to eat carbs. I see a piece of chocolate on her desk, and I said, ma'am, I got to eat this piece of chocolate. And she was like, help yourself. So I'm eating 3 Whoppers. Doctor comes in, nice little guy, asked me about my biopsy. And of course, I'm looking at him like I didn't want to have to do it, like it wasn't a comfortable situation. So he's pretty much like, we didn't get favorable results from the biopsy. And I'm still eating those 3 Whoppers. I'm eating those 3 Whoppers, the little chocolate candies, malt ball candies. And He was like, you're handling it mighty well. I'm a very emotional person, can cry at the drop of a dime. So if they ever need a fill-in in a movie about easy to cry, it's me. Can cry easily. So I was like, I guess it's the chocolate. And then plus, I think I kind of had a feeling. So he walks or asked me if I have any questions, and what kind of questions can I ask? I've never had this. I have to fully process it. No, I don't have any questions. So he pretty much says, okay, well, if you have any questions, here's my contact, and leaves me with the young lady. So the young lady set me up for an hour appointment with the surgeon. So I do have to have surgery. So at this point, the Whoppers are gone. It was only 3. The 3 Whoppers are gone, and I think I'm starting to feel emotional. I begin to say, fudge, like, seriously? So anyway, she schedules the appointment, gives me a big binder. I'm going to find this binder for you so I can show you. Gives me a big binder. And I walk out, and I get to the elevator. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, did they just tell me I have breast cancer? I'm 37. What do you mean I got breast cancer? It's not a family history of it. What do you mean I have breast cancer? So these are now all the things that are going through my mind. I'm no longer with the doctor. I'm walking out to go to the car. So at this point, it's about 3:45. Okay? Now, if you know, or as you get to know me, you'll know that my day stays busy. I have to keep busy. I enjoy what I do as far as work goes. Love what I do as far as my side job goes. So I enjoy work. So when I tell you I'm on a strict schedule, I had group at 5 o'clock. I had supervision for substance abuse counseling at 5 o'clock. So it's now 3:45. I'm sitting in this car like, you're going to have to get yourself together. I don't want people to know you've been crying. And at this point in the car, I'm boo-hooing like, hope you got cancer. You really have breast cancer. So then I ponder, who can I tell? What would I say? Why would I be saying it? So those are all the things that go through my mind. And the first person that obviously comes to my mind is someone who's been through it. Call Tawanda. So I called Tawanda. She doesn't answer. It's 3:45 in the afternoon. So eventually Tawanda answers, and it's pretty much like, no, she calls me back. And it's pretty much like, don't look at anything on the internet. I'll be there for you. I got you. And when she got her diagnoses, they immediately told her she had to have chemo. They didn't say that to me. So what they were saying to me was we caught it in the early stages. And I didn't have any lymph nodes, so they didn't see any lymph nodes. Now, I can say all of this to you, but I have no clue what any of this means. So as the journey progresses, of course, I'll be able to explain what all of it means. And it's been 2 days, and I have not looked at the internet. I don't want to know. So I'm battling with who I tell, what I tell. I go on, I sit in the parking lot of Dollar Tree for a little while because at this point, keto has left me. I need a ginger ale, and I just need some McDonald's French fries. I skipped the McDonald's French fries, but I did go to Dollar Tree to get a ginger ale. So my friend comes up there, he meets me, and he's kind of talking to me, and was like, wow, like, we got this, you're in good spirits, we're gonna get through this, but you really should tell your mom and your sister. I don't want to tell them. They're gonna worry me to death. And when I say worry me to death, I'm not saying worry me to death as in they're worrying me, but they're worrying, which is worrying me, if you follow what I mean. All right, so day 1 continues. I go on to my group, and while in my group and doing what I love to do, forget the fact that I just got a diagnosis less than 2 hours ago. I forget the fact that, man, what is next? And it's not that I was given a death sentence. I definitely did not get a death sentence. What I got was a hurdle, which is what eventually you'll learn that my sister calls it, a speed bump in the road. That's all I got. So even as the night goes on, my sister keeps calling me like, what happened at your appointment? Because she finds out I have an appointment. My mom had been calling her because she learned something somehow. So that day I tell them both. Now my sister lives 5 hours away. She's up in Aberdeen, and it's a long way given traffic. And yes, by all means, she's my best friend, the one that I can definitely confide in and tell anything to. But she's so far away with 3 kids and a husband and just doing her thing. I don't want to bother her. Eventually it comes out, she knows, and I come home and I tell my mom after mad encouragement from my sister and my friends. So go on, tell my mom. My mom is, of course, cooking and immediately stops cooking. I was like, and her thing is, Hope, I don't want you to worry. My thing to her is, Mom, not worried. I'm good. Like, we fight this, we get over it, and, we continue on with our lives. So now I'm worried that she's worried. So I go on, finish taking my shower or start taking a shower. And then I begin to see that, dang, this has really weighed on my mother because I don't think she slept that night at all. Wake up the next day. It's a regular day. I get up and have a fashion show every single morning. I have my little fashion show. I have a little photo shoot. And I carry on with my day. So, of course, day 2, which was yesterday, day 2 comes around, and I end up telling another one of my big sisters. I did tell her, and I told one of my best male friends. I did tell Marco, and I did tell Jermaine Brown. So I told Marco and Jermaine yesterday. And they're very supportive. I don't have not one. If I have any non-supportive people on my side, I don't know who they are. So I told them, I literally worked yesterday from 7:30 in the morning until about 10 o'clock last night at meetings. I also told another one of my really good friends, Kim. And Kim, that joker, decides to call and sing these sad songs like I done died and Lord don't take her from here. And I'm looking at her like, well, eventually I am going to die. Whether I go before you or you go before me, I am going to eventually die. But I don't, this isn't a death sentence. I want to make sure I get that through everyone's head. I'm okay. So last night, I went to my Portsmouth Service League meeting where one of my coworkers and I attend. And I pretty much quickly told her, because I get so emotional, I had to quickly tell her and walked away. And she just stood there. I said, well, I got to walk away now. And just the support that has been coming has been very, very instrumental. So I like to get to the funny parts because I hate crying. So, funny part, my mom last night decides to tell me, and I told her specifically, you give her the internet. She has really acted up with this internet. So I give her, I come home and she now wants to talk to me. I'm usually very quiet. I come in late at night. I go directly to my room and just go ahead and go to sleep because I've just had a heavy day. Doesn't matter what happened during the day. I just kind of go on to sleep because it's late at night. So my mom comes in and is talking to me and was like, have you heard of the Proton Clinic? Mom, no. Tawana told me not to Google anything, and I know how my mind will wonder if I start Googling. I have not heard of the Proton Clinic. So she goes on to explain that she did all this research, and Carol told her this, and so-and-so told her that, and I need to go to the Proton Clinic. I'm thinking the Proton Clinic, now I live in Portsmouth, Churchland, the Churchland area of Portsmouth. I'm thinking the Proton Clinic down the street. This joker has the audacity to tell me they won't do any surgery. You can go there. I said, go there? Like, where is it? And she said, in Florida. I'm not finna drive to Florida. Like, I haven't even met with the surgeon. I don't know what the surgeon's gonna say. Don't know the next steps, but surgery is what they explained. So anyway, Mom not going to Florida. So then she said, well, Hope, I do want you to also stop using deodorant. Mom, if you don't put that internet down, I'm not going to stop using deodorant. Like, I don't want to be musty. I don't need deodorant. So that is the funnier parts. My sister wants to drive down to come to the appointment Tuesday. And I'm like, absolutely not. And she's like, you have to let me do this, blah, blah, blah. But her best friend, one of her best friends, who lives literally right down the street from me, and I really don't know why she's Renata's best friend, because her and I have more in common. But to say the least, whatever's Renata's friend is my friend. Or whomever is Renata's friend is my friend. So Kia is actually going to go with me next Tuesday. Tawanda has made me promise to put her on the internet. I mean, on the speakerphone as we do it. And I'll make sure that I record my journey. So that way, this will definitely be a blessing to someone else who's going through something very, very similar, who has some of the same reservations about letting people know or talking to people, because we do need people. This is not a world we're supposed to live in on our own. So we definitely need the support of those around us. And we're merely not asking individuals to feel sorry for us, because that's not us. We're simply letting you know that this is what I'm going through. So if ever I'm off on my rocker, for whatever the case may be, it has nothing to do with you. It has a lot to do with some of the cards I've been dealt, and we're definitely going to make this a winning hand. So as I travel through this journey, I want to welcome you all with me, and I'll try to post on a daily basis so everyone will be able to see the life through this journey. Now, I don't know what the journey ends with. I don't know what the story will do at the end. But as long as my story can help one person, it was a story worth recording. So be blessed, and you've just watched A Glimpse of Hope.